Okay, hello and welcome back to another video. If you don't know, my name is Kyla and this is my northern blue-tongued skink. And today, as you probably already noticed by the title, we are going to tell you some of our favorite reptile supplies. Oh my goodness. Where are you going? You going on an adventure? Going on an adventure? So yes, we are going to tell you some of our favorite reptile supplies that I can't live without, having a fairly large collection, and things that I reach for often. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, I'm going to start with something that seems very obvious, but I also see a lot of people not using them, so maybe it's not so obvious, but feeding tongs. So these are my feeding tongs that I right now have quail egg on them because I was just feeding Houdini. But these are, I believe so these are the Zoom Ed. These are Zoom Ed. I've had these for literally probably 10 years. They're amazing, and they're the one thing I reach for so often that I constantly lose them because I'm always leaving them all over the reptile room. So feeding tongs are really important, and I'm going to show you guys some clips of Houdini eating and probably some of my snakes as well. But feeding tongs are really important because not only do they protect your fingers from getting bitten, but they also teach the animal that your hands don't mean food. When you feed rodents or whatever you're feeding with your fingers, animals will start to associate your fingers with food, and then that can lead to them not being as tame. At least in my experience, not every animal is going to work that way, but in my experience, a lot of the time, if you use your fingers, they're going to think fingers mean food and therefore more likely to bite your fingers. So yes, feeding tongs are amazing. You can get them in all different sorts of places. I think I literally got these at PetSmart, like I said, like 10 years ago. But like every reptile store I go to has them. You can order them on Amazon. They're basically just a giant pair of tweezers. So these are 100% as it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is another thing that might seem obvious, but I do see a lot of people not using them or not using them correctly, and that's supplements. So there is a ton of different opinions on supplements, so I'm just going to put a little disclaimer that I am not a vet, I am not a professional, I'm just a reptile keeper, reptile lover. I do have a lot of experience with reptiles. I did work at a reptile store for a couple years, so I have a ton of reptile experience. So this is kind of what I do, but it's not the be-all and end-all. It's not the only way to do it. So pretty much what I mainly use is this Calcium Plus. So it's Repashy Calcium Plus. Let me see. There we go. And this is basically a vitamin and calcium supplement, so it has both, and it's just kind of an all-around super supplement. But I do have a ton of other supplements. I have pretty much every supplement under the sun. I have Reptivite, which is, I think this is a Zoom Ed one. I have Repti Calcium. I think this one is with D3. I have the Repcal stuff. I have Herptivite. And then I have Calcium by Reptivite as well. And I could go on. I have a ton of supplements. So what I like to say is do your research about the individual animal you're keeping. So let's say let's talk about Houdini, for instance. For Houdini, I feed her about 3 times a week, depending on the size of the meal. If I give her a smaller meal, I'll feed her more often, and also depends on her activity level. But generally, she gets fed about 3 times a week, and twice of those times, I will use some kind of supplement. So I would just say do a lot of research with the specific animal that you're keeping in mind, and then kind of based on that, yeah, there's a lot of different opinions on how to do it, but definitely use supplements. And when in doubt, I always would just say ask a vet. You can even call a vet office, an exotic vet office, and be like, hey, I have this bearded dragon, this age. For example, how much would you give? And get their opinion if you're really not sure. But yeah, definitely use supplements. It's very important. yeah, we don't want MBD, and we definitely don't want any kind of other issues that can come without having supplements. But yeah, on to the next. Other thing, or the next thing, is a good disinfectant or a good cleaning supply regimen. So I keep a lot of different animals. I don't currently have any frogs, so this is not going to apply to amphibians because I know they can be more sensitive. But what I use is this, which is chlorhexidine. It's just a disinfectant. And I use this in a very watered down solution. Let me grab mine. So I use this little spray bottle and I label it so I know what is in it. And I usually do a mixture of vinegar, water, and chlorhexidine. You can use just vinegar, you can just do water and chlorhexidine. Do your research, make sure you understand everything that goes into these. These are completely safe when used correctly. And basically I wash down my bins, or spray down my bins with these whenever I want to disinfect them. I wipe them clean, I spray water, and I rinse them. So that is what I do, and this is important because your animals should have a clean habitat. I mean, obviously they're animals, so they're not going to be sparkling clean like every single day, and that's okay. But when you do want to do a good clean, you should make sure you have a good cleaning regimen. I know a lot of people like to use bleach and things like that. I'm not a big fan of bleach for a couple reasons. The main one being that it is obviously toxic. And if I were to miss a small spot and an animal were to somehow manage to like get it in their mouth, I just worry that they could get sick from it. If you have the ability to like go in your backyard and like hose down something that was bleached, that might be different. But I like to use a disinfectant that is safe if accidentally ingested. I mean, obviously ingesting any disinfectant in high quantities would not be safe, but a small little teeny amount that you forget, they're not going to die of vinegar, for instance. So be careful with disinfecting, but make sure you are disinfecting your enclosures at least from time. Okay, so next up would be a thermostat. And thermostats are very important just because you don't want your reptiles to be too hot or too cold. So thermostats basically allow you to make sure that your reptiles are getting the right temperature. And also, specifically for heat mats, heat tape, and things like that, they can often overheat. And that's going to cause your animal, or could cause your animal, to burn, and we don't want that. So I actually just ordered a new thermostat off Amazon, so I might do it's right here. It's meant for plant propagating, I believe, but I'm going to try it out and see if I like it for my reptiles, because right now I have like rheostat ones, and I just want to upgrade. So if this is good, I might do a video specifically on it. And if I like it, I'll link it. But I'm going to try this out, and then I will do like a little update if I actually do like it. But yes, thermostats are very important, and just knowing what the temperature of your cage in general is very important. So it's a must. It's not, oh, maybe not, or it's a must. And you also don't want to burn your house down if your heat pad or heat tube gets too hot that it starts to like burn the enclosure or something. So definitely be safe with that and make sure you're monitoring your temperatures. Okay, so I just set up my new thermostat, and so here's what it looks like. You can kind of see what we got going on there. And basically what I did was I took the thermostat, I plugged my rack into it, and obviously I plugged the thermostat into the wall. And then what I did was I took the probe that the thermostat comes with, which this is the important step, and I put that in one of my bins, and I just suction cupped it to the very back of the bin where the hot spot is going to be, so that way I can actually tell how hot the bin is getting. I was also able to set my own temperature, so right now it's just like figuring out what the temperature is, but I was able to set the temperature I wanted, which is also very important, so that way you don't have to worry that the cage is going to be too hot or too cold. Here's this little guy behind me, so that's the little bit of noise behind me. But yeah, so that's very important. I'll put a link down below to that thermostat that I used. I'm going to have to do an update to see what I actually think of it. So far it's good. It was really easy. Okay, so those are Reptile supplies that I reach for every single day when I'm in my Reptile room, and they're in no particular order. I think they're all very, very important, and they're just things that make your life easier, your reptile's life safer, better, happier, healthier, all of those good things. And they're just things that if you're gonna be a reptile keeper, even if you're gonna keep one gecko, it's important that you have these things. And yeah, so that is basically everything I have for you today. If you did like the video and you want to see more from me, definitely subscribe down below. It's the little red button. It is free and it helps me out. Also, if you want to make sure you don't miss one of my videos, hit the notification bell, which is right beside it. Give this video a like if you thought the information was helpful, and definitely comment down below with what you want to see, if there's anything in the future that you want me to do, or an animal of mine that you know I have that you want to see more of, because I'd be happy to do that. And yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay inside, and I will see you guys next time.